wanted to make this an open forum right now. Why do you think people are so uncomfortable with the word single? What you got, Ms. McCoy?
I think they just, because some people not happy with being single. They think if you're single and is something wrong with you individually. But I'm a person that it doesn't bother me to say I'm single because I feel like I'm not single. I'm married to the Lord. So that really doesn't apply to me, but it's just a myth that how people think about being single. It's singles that you single for different reasons. Singles by divorce, singles by death, their spouse died, or singles by choice. Death, their spouse died, or singles by choice.
I like that. You have some, Charlotte?
The world has told us that we have to be with another person, and we believe it. Some of us, and so we frown when we say, the world has told me that I have to be with another person. So sometimes we're not sure, but it depends on how certain we are in our walk with the Lord that it won't bother us. It's an opportunity to grow closer to Christ for some of us. For some of us, it is a sad situation because we've allowed the outpour from the world to come into our minds. But if we keep our minds stayed on Christ, then there's a new direction there.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think a lot of times in different churches, there's no standard as far as the singles are kind of left out. It's like by default. Okay, there's a ministry for the married, there's a ministry for the youth, there's a ministry if you're going to be like in the choir or whatever, but it seems like a lot of times by default the singles get left out unless you're trying to find a mate or you're trying to go out, hang out. So I think it's, even especially in the church, a lot of times it's looked down upon by some people because they don't understand the value of being single. That's a time where you can consecrate and also concentrate on the Lord.
I like that. Give it up for your hands so you can answer the question. So raise your hand if you have somebody in your life that is living single from your perspective correctly in the body of Christ. Raise your hand if you got somebody like that. Raise your hand if you have an accountability partner that holds you accountable for your misjudgments sometimes. Raise your hand if you got that.
I don't.
Wow. Why do you think it's important to have somebody to hold you accountable other than God? Anybody, raise your hand. For the ones that actually have one. What does that relationship look like? Go ahead.
Because it's somebody that's down to your level, that's down to earth, that can tell you, hey, I don't think you made the right decision when you did this or did that. And it could just be somebody that loves you. Like I have a best friend that holds me accountable for different things. My nieces hold me accountable for different things. And I think that's good because you have someone that's in your face, that's on your level, that you talk to every day, that knows you and knows your character, that can tell you that was wrong.
Okay. Go ahead, Shirley.
We cannot see ourselves. When we look, our view is outward. It's not inward necessarily. So to do the inward, or even just around us, the perimeter around us, we need another person who can see things that we can't see. A common one for women, us women, was your slip's hanging. Well, I may not see my slip hanging for those of us who wear slips, but someone else can see it and can point that out. You know what I'm saying? So we have to have someone who can assess us in settings and who can tell us, you're out of line here. Did you think about this over there? And it can be a wonderful thing if that accountable person is spiritual and is in the Word also, so that they can bring you back to Christ. We don't want anyone to bring us to them. So that becomes idolatry. You're worshiping that person. But our goal is to point people to Christ and His standards.
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, that's so true, right? And that's the reason why we wanted to have this conference is it's so many people that get it wrong. They get it wrong. And it's mainly because they don't have the right tools in their toolbox. And plus, a lot of times they don't even know how to get to the tools in the first place because there's nobody pointing them in the right direction. So we've been talking about in our ministry for a long time about Jubilee. They used to have a wonderful church singles conference, and it was amazing. I think we had about maybe 100 or 200 people that came out to that event. But as soon as that ministry person left, then there was no singles conference at all. So we talk about developing a community. We need people to actually fill in the blanks if something like that actually happens. And that's why I think God called this ministry to offer that space. And as long as I'm here, I will make sure that if we make it to 5 years, no, when we make it to 5 years, right? That it won't matter what's going on the south side, on the north side, or even on the west side, because on the second week in October, singles actually want to come here. Amen. You talk about that? So I got